Right. Ah, yes. McAfee. Yeah, McAfee.
Not Nescafe, Kenko. I
What?
like Kenko.
Kenko?
Yeah, Kenko.
No, not Kenko. Not Nescafe. McAfee. John McAfee. It's the news that's been out about him apparently suiciding himself. That's part of the episode we're gonna do. Not
Ah,
Nescafe. Oh, roll intro. Right. Is Kenko gone? Yes. It's another episode of More News from Nowhere with me, Jonny, and Paul there drinking Kenko. But as we said at the top of the programme, one of the topics is the John McAfee incident. I don't know if you know much about this, Paul. It's
I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about the actual death. I mean, obviously, there's been suspected suicides in prison before with Jeffrey
yes,
Epstein.
that's true. Yes.
I don't think I do know about it, but I saw a little bit about history of John McAfee, where apparently he killed his neighbour's dog or neighbour.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
There was that. Yeah,
Anyway, there's something to do with that. He set up a murder or something, but I think he got away with it.
yeah.
Uh,
There's a bit of it. I'm not sure about that. It's a bit. I've read a bit about that, but I'm not sure what to make about that bit. Really, it's a bit strange. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a bit of a strange guy, to be honest. But so was Epstein. But,
mm,
um, but yeah, he seemed to be quite outspoken about the deep state, and he was, you know, kind of like he was going to expose some of the stuff that he'd learnt about them and everything that, and he was ready to expose it and everything like that. And then he got messages coming through. Yeah, I think he put on Twitter a couple of years ago. He put on Twitter that that he had subtle messages that he was going to get done in. They were going to kill him, basically.
okay.
And I think he repeated this, and it got to him so much that he got himself a tattoo that said "whacked." Whacked
Right.
on
Right.
with a tweet saying, um, if I'm ever found dead by suicide, I won't have killed myself. I'm not going to do that. So you'll know it's the deep state, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then a couple of years later, very recently, he's been found dead in a prison cell. We've heard that story before, haven't we?
Mm. Were
Yeah.
the CCTV cameras working that time?
I've actually not read anything about that, but I presume that it's the same kind of scenario, no doubt. I mean, I'm not sure if it was as high security prison as Jeffrey Epstein was in,
Mm.
um, but I've not really read much about the security of it, element of it. They've not really talked about that, to be honest. Well, not that I've read. I mean, if anyone else knows any more, then honestly, have a comment.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's kind of it. It's almost you can't get around the fact that he's been murdered. How can you see this any other way? Because apparently he was also on the phone to a member of his family. I can't remember if it's his mother or his sister. It might have been his sister. Only a couple of days before, and he was nowhere near suicidal. He just said he wasn't suicidal at all. So this all bears into, of course, with him in 2019, I think it was, where he had this tattoo and he was saying, they're coming to get me. They get, and he's saying that U.S. officials have said to him they're coming to get him. They're
Mm.
going to kill him. He had kind of. They must. I mean, he calls them subtle messages, but they can't have been that subtle for him to react the way he did. He was certain. He seemed certain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's all a bit. I think it was a Spanish prison he was in. I think he was in Barcelona, but I don't know. I don't know how much about the security. So
Mm.
it's intriguing, really. But he was in prison for tax evasion.
Okay.
You
Right.
know.
Fair.
So
Mm.
I don't know whether how relevant that was, because I mean, usually it's a bit like, I mean, Al Capone. He was in prison for tax evasion.
That's right. Yeah.
probably the same thing. They probably knew that he'd murdered somebody, they couldn't get him on that, and they desperately wanted him behind bars, mainly because of what he knows about the deep state. They want to keep him controlled. I think they wanted to get him in prison so they could get to him, just like Jeffrey Epstein. I think once they get him into that kind of area where they're in control, they can then control his death, if you like, So that's what I've got from it. It's just, for me, it's out and out murder. There's no suicide there at all. It's even more clear cut than Jeffrey Epstein one.
Right.
So yeah.
But maybe they'll put it as, if it was in England, they'll put it as like a died with COVID.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't put that on him. Put that actually, but
Yeah.
But I suppose in the prison, I don't know. They could have got away with it. I don't know, but they chose, suicide. So, it's the old adage, innit? Hanging in prison. God. But you'd think they'd be a bit more original, wouldn't you, really? But never mind. But yeah, so that's that one. So I don't know if any more about that, but it does strike resemblance with Jeffrey Epstein, doesn't it? It's all very dodgy. So,
and I wonder about Ghislaine Maxwell, if she'll be suicided as well one day. But
yeah,
but
true. I mean, maybe she must be still kind of seen as an asset to the state at the moment, maybe. But maybe with someone like Ghislaine Maxwell, maybe she's had warning to keep her mouth shut and to keep under wraps, and she'll be all right. I don't know, but who knows? But it's one of them things, isn't it? We just got to kind of, with these situations, you've got to kind of surmise what you already have learnt about the deep state and how governments and the shadow governments work. You kind of have to summarize what the possibilities are, what how they work. So yeah, who knows? But there's that. Yeah. So that's an interesting article, I thought. And then I don't know if you know about the Britney Spears as well. It's a little bit of that's come up.
Yeah, I think she's been controlled and that kind of thing, isn't it? I think her dad wanted to have full control over her because she seemed as mentally unstable or something.
Yeah.
But I think she's trying to prove that she's not mentally unstable, and obviously she wants to have rights to her own, income, which I could understand.
Totally.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on it, mate?
Yeah, same as yours, really. I mean, I'm just wondering if this is part of the whole blanket of people waking up and things not holding in the energy. I think even because I mean, with Britney Spears, of all the celebrities that are mind controlled, I think an awful lot are in some capacity mind controlled or controlled in some way. Britney's probably the most known in that sphere, if you like. With the mental breakdown she had. When was it, 2008 or something, or some before that? Probably, I don't know when it was, but I think it was before that. But she had the public breakdown, didn't she? Shaved her head, which is very kind of like, mind control monarch kind of.
Yeah.
How they shave their heads before, there's so there was a lot of them kind of hallmarks that we see in kind of these MK Ultra programs,
Yeah.
And then she's coming out, she's coming out with this recently, saying, she basically, I think it's this conservatorship, I think it's called. I think that's right. Where it's illegal. I think her dad almost had, through courts, had legal ownership of Britney Spears, where he completely controlled her by legally control the finances, her career, everything, because it was deemed she was mentally unstable. So I think she's been in it about 13 years. I read now she's been under this control with her dad, and she's obviously had enough. She's a grown woman now, and I think she's found the strength to speak up now. I think she's got a bit of backing now. She's got a boyfriend who supports her, but I think she had trouble with boyfriends before who were kind of I think some of it, I think including Justin Timberlake, were kind of assets to her, boyfriends that were placed with her, as part of this controlling thing. But I think this one seems to be more supportive of her, seems to be more her choice. And I think she's found strength now to speak out, and she's been very adamant, and the public are supporting her. I think it's a good thing. The public are supporting her. So I wish her luck. I hope that she gets the freedom she wants and she deserves, and her father's exposed of the kind of guy he is. Because I mean, she explained it. It's an abusive relationship. That's how she explained it. More of a mental abuse than anything else. But it's obvious to me her father is the handler. That's his. He's a very definite handler. So yeah. So that's what's happening at the moment. So that's another one to look out for. See how that progresses. But yeah, it's all very interesting. All anything you want to add on that one, Paul?
Not particularly, but I thought that when Britney Spears was first on the scene, music-wise, I thought the "Hit Me Baby One More Time" video was very risky. I thought that again. Who controlled that idea? School clothes, and all that kind of thing. Short skirts, and who controlled that idea?
That's a good observation. Yeah. So right from the off, that's really good. I mean, that was like a first single as well, wasn't it?
It was.
So it's like right from the off, she was being placed to portray a certain character, kind of to produce sexuality, because that's what a lot of them are doing now, isn't it? They're kind of promoting sexuality to a younger audience, And she was, I think, initially brought in for something like that as part of a kind of thing to do, I guess. That was a role, part of a role. So yeah, it's a good point. That's a very good point. Who knows when the real mind control started, but I imagine not long after that, if not already. So yeah, very interesting. We'll see the developments of that as they play out. So yeah, that's the article on Britney Spears that's doing the rounds. Very interesting, as is the John McAfee one. I think that was really interesting.
Sorry.
Oh, Paul. Are you all right, Paul? You not got a virus, have you?
No, but oh my goodness, my computer virus software is going.
And it's a McAfee one.
Yeah.
He's not dead after all. They have shipped him off.
He did an Epstein.
He did. Unless it's the deep state working through the McAfee program. They're onto us, Paul. They're onto us.
Quick, turn off, Johnny. Quick, turn off.
We better end. Right? Quick. Switch off.
Dirty little virus sleeping inside us. Gone are the paydays.